Sprouting is a really easy and fun way to get started with growing food. It requires very few components, very little time, and the result is a super healthy and tasty snack. You're probably already familiar with sprouts if you've ever bought alfalfa sprouts or something similar from the supermarket. Today I'm going to show you how you can grow your very own alfalfa sprouts using the sprouting kit that we have provided as part of the program. So what actually are sprouts? Well, they're just plants in early stages of their germination, when they've just produced their first root and the beginnings of their stem. If you left your sprouts to keep growing and eventually planted them, they would turn into the mature versions of that plant. However, all we're choosing to do with sprouts is eat them at this early stage in their germination. Our microgreens that we're going to be growing later on in the program also go through a sprouting stage before they become microgreens. Sprouts need to be grown in clean, closed, and sterile conditions in order to be food safe. This is because bacteria like to grow in similar conditions that sprouts do. Our sprouting jars provide this perfect environment to grow sprouts safely. The risk is low, but food safety is something that we should always keep in mind when we're growing food for ourselves. This also applies to harvesting our microgreens later on in the program. The conditions in which our microgreens grow on mean that the sprouting section of it, the seed and the root, are not food safe to eat. So we recommend always cutting the microgreen at the base and only eating the stem and the leaves. Sprouts are incredibly healthy and a really easy way to add some fresh nutrition to your diet. You can eat them as a snack, you can have them on all kinds of meals. They're really versatile and they taste great. Plus, when we sprout seeds, we unlock all of the proteins and enzymes and make them available to us. It's one of the really awesome aspects about eating plants at this early stage in their growth, and the same applies to microgreens. Not to mention the extra benefits of knowing that you grew them yourself. Speaking of, let's get started. Firstly, you're going to need to get the sprouting lid and the alfalfa seeds from your sprouting kit. You'll also need a bowl, a tablespoon, and some water for rinsing. Plus, you're going to need to repurpose a 1 litre jar that matches the sprouting lid from the kit. So you may have noticed that we haven't included a jar in your sprouting kit. You might be asking yourself why that is. Well, at Farmall, we really believe in the idea of doing what you can with what you've got. We think it's better to repurpose things that already exist rather than going out and buying new stuff. We challenge you to repurpose a jar that you already have, or maybe even go and talk to your neighbor or someone you know and see if they have a jar that you can use. If you can take an existing jar and give it a new life, you have made a small but meaningful contribution to our material impact on the environment. And doing this has meant another benefit for you. It's meant that we've had more budget, which we've put back into extra seeds in all of the sprouting kits. So we'd love to hear how you go about finding a jar, maybe post in the community if you have an awesome story about how you managed to repurpose one, and we'd fully support you in your repurposing journey. So we're going to start by adding our alfalfa seeds to the jar. Just unscrew the lid, and you're going to want to add about 2 tablespoons. Just try not to spill them, it can be a bit difficult. Next, we just need to rinse the seeds. So we're just going to take some of our water and pour a little bit in. Then we can take our lid and screw it on, like so. And we just want to give them a quick rinse, so just kind of swish them around and then just tip that out. So now that we've given them a rinse, we're just going to add another half a cup of water or so. And you can actually just pour it through the lid now, which is kind of cool. Sometimes you can get some seeds that get stuck on the sides and things, but that's okay, because they'll continue to sprout anyway. So we're just going to soak these seeds for about 8 hours now, or overnight will do just fine. The seeds will soak up the water and begin the germination process. After soaking your seeds for about 8 hours, you're now going to want to drain them. You'll notice that after soaking for 8 hours, your seeds will swell up and absorb quite a lot of the water. We do want to tip out the remaining water though, and we're going to add more. Take our jar, add a little bit more water, give them another rinse. Rinse and spin. Rinse and spin. And now our bowl comes in. You can place your jar like so. This way, any remaining water can drain out into the bowl and your seeds will begin to germinate. Leave your seeds for another 8 hours and then rinse again. You'll do this rinsing process 2 times every day. Just grabbing your jar like so, adding some more water, giving it a quick rinse, pouring it out, and then adding it back to your bowl. Tiny roots should appear after about 3 days. This is pretty exciting, but our sprouts aren't quite ready yet. You want to keep rinsing for another 2 days after that. After 5 days, you'll start to get something that looks like this, fully grown alfalfa sprouts. You can always leave them for another couple of days as well if you want them to grow bigger. Once they have their first couple of leaves and a nice white stem, the alfalfa sprouts are ready for eating. Or if you want to save them for later, you can transfer them into an airtight container and store them in the fridge. Try to eat them within the week. And so that's how you sprout. We've also included 3 other varieties of seeds in the sprouting kit for you to try. Those all can be done using the same method. If you run into some problems or just have any questions, make sure to post them in the ecosystem community page so that we can help you out. We'd also love to see how you like to eat your alfalfa sprouts. So make sure you post a photo of your favorite way to eat them. I personally just love to eat them as they are. So good. They can be extremely addictive though, so be careful. I've been Tobias, showing you how to do sprouting, and until next time, happy growing.